Yes.
Oh, hi.
How you doing there?
Hi. I'm good. I'm actually super excited. I'm so ready to celebrate these amazing humans and number one best-selling authors tonight. I'm so excited that everyone can be here. And I just realized I'm so busy in the private chat that I have not been paying attention to our comments, which I'm going to star so that we can say hi to everybody.
Phenomenal. Well, it's an incredible day, an amazing book launched, and not only launched, but number one bestseller. Yes. Shout out to the lag. We hope all of you are doing well wherever you're joining us from around the world. We are broadcasting on LinkedIn Live, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, around the world. That's right. I'm Ryan Shulman. This is Nancy Deborah, and we're excited to have all 12 of the incredible authors in this amazing anthology series, Rattled Awake. This is volume 2, and it's going to shake your boots. You're going to feel it in your knees.
The title.
Yes. Exactly. It's going to rattle you awake is what's going to happen here. So we are excited to introduce you to all these incredible authors, these amazing humans, these huge hearts. They're going to share some moments with you about this journey. A number of these amazing humans are actually first-time authors and first-time best-selling authors.
Yes, we're going to celebrate all of these amazing accomplishments, and we'll let you get to know them a little bit better before you get up to their chapter. If you've read a chapter already, please let us know in the comments. We're super excited to have you all here. Should we start with some quick hellos?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's say hi. We got Erin Gibson is here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. And Jen, thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here to celebrate with us, and Tracy as well. We're excited to have you here for our party, this launch party for this number one best-selling book. And Nori, thank you. We have a LinkedIn user. Anyone, LinkedIn user. If next time you put a comment, if you can do me a favor and put your name so that way I can actually call you by name. Doug Thompson is in 2 places at once. He's both in the green room and in the comments because he's just that good. Bob Feather, it's so good to see you. It's been a while since we've talked about what bottles you're popping on Friday night and what food you're doing and how awesome you are. Hope the family's doing well. Thank you for being here. Russ Hedge, hey, 1,000 thanks to you for being here. Appreciate that. And our good friend Andrea, thank you for being here. You guys is amazing. You all have a beautiful community that's showing up for you today. We have a beautiful community. Hi from Providence, from Alvin. And if you're not connected to these people, we have book producer. Lonnie Ray. Okay, I'm trying to see whose picture it is. Of course, that's you. All right, the party can start because we have Katie J in the house. Savor the flavor. Savor the flavor of the awesomeness in you, Peeps, for sharing your delectably scrumptious, deliciously, edibly tasty, good, heartfelt thoughts with us tonight. Woohoo! That's our guy. So there's a bunch more that you guys are talking to each other. Thank you so much. If I missed you on the first round, I will definitely be getting you on the second round. Thank you for being here. Jenny Gold, I see you. Thank you for being here to support all of us. We appreciate it. You know, when things are accomplished in life, when the tide is rising, and we say a rising tide lifts all ships, it makes it exponentially higher and bigger and better when we have our communities to celebrate with. So thank you for joining us. It's always good to have you here.
All right, good night. No.
I just said hi to people.
I know, it's amazing. Well, so good to have each and every one of you with us. As you join, we'll keep saying hello to you. If you have a question you want to ask the authors, feel free to do so. We're here to celebrate them, and we're here to share them with you. So let's kick this thing off, shall we, Nancy Deborah?
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to first introduce you to Nikki Bell, an amazing woman, powerhouse. And she's going to tell you a little bit about herself, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her chapter. And I'm going to take that down so we can see you. Hi, Nikki. Make sure you unmute yourself, because I know we asked you to mute yourself.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight? Congratulations, number one best-selling author. And this is Nikki's first number one best-selling book. So congratulations, you guys. Let's hear it for Nikki in the comments.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Nancy and Brian, for putting this on. We appreciate you. This was quite the journey, and writing this and pouring out our hearts and bleeding with the pen to paper. And also thank you, Lonnie Ray, for editor in chief, for just encouraging us along the way, putting this all together from the book cover to editing, whoever she had to work with to do it, the calls that she had to make to Amazon. I mean, this is no small feat. So everyone, thank you to all the authors. Thank you so much. I know that I've been behind, but I've been with you in spirit. I really have. So, yes, much appreciation.
And I will say one of the beautiful things about this group, and many of us were meeting for the first time, was the tremendous amount of support and
Yeah,
people's presence when they weren't even there.
yeah.
If that's been one of the most amazing parts of this journey for me. And I know, as you were just saying, it's been wonderful for you. Now, we have a question for you, of course. We want to know just a little bit about your chapter. Don't tell us too much because everybody's going to want to read it. So, what's been your single most like rattle awake moment? You took it down, Brian Shulman.
No,
Uh,
I didn't. Aaron's doing comments, or you are, or
I'm
someone
doing.
I don't know.
That's me. I'm doing it. You'd think I would know what I'm doing by now. Okay. What has been the single biggest event over the past 5 years that caused you to completely change your perspective? What rattled you awake?
So mine has been a recent event that happened without giving it away. And what I realized that it was not only intergenerational, but it was continuing. And I wanted it to stop. So whenever you spiritually put pen to paper, you are speaking to the universe and you are saying, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. And you're clearly defining what your destiny should be, not what's presented to you as status quo. So it's constantly rising above and it's constantly fighting. And sometimes that fight is internal. And so I talk a lot about who I am in terms of spiritually how I'm able to overcome and really define that diosa. Diosa means goddess in Spanish. Really define that inner power that I have. And I don't just pull from one entity or from one tool, but it's all. There are so many things that we do in life. You ever hear of people that wear a number of hats? You can wear a number of hats, but you are that one individual. And so this the latest experience, it made me become a whole person instead of half loving myself, which I talk about, instead of having doubt, right? I love myself fully and wholefully. And that is the most important. There's no shame, there's no guilt. And again, I'm not giving it away. You have to read it because there should not be. We all have experiences. We all make mistakes and we all go through journeys, trials, and tribulations. But it's how we are able to rise up and overcome those things, right? The inspiration is not me trying to inspire others, it's me inspiring myself and being motivated to say, this will stop now because I deserve to be happy and I deserve the best. And I know that that resonates with a lot of people around the world. And the issue that I bring up is so, so, so important. And it is about knowing your rights. That's the ultimate thing, is knowing your rights. That is a source of empowerment. Maybe you're not a spiritual person. Maybe you just, things are going to happen when they need to happen. That's fine. But knowing your rights give you that extra sense of empowerment. And that's very important, both for men and for women. So thank you again. And I hope that everyone gets a chance to read not just my chapter, but everyone's chapter in the book. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You bring up some really good points. I know, Brian, you'll want to speak to some of these as well. I love that you included something that was more recent because I think a lot of us, as we move through, as things are happening, and maybe in the moment we don't see it as the growth moment, but most of us don't have a single rattled awake moment. And if you're lucky and growing, right, you're going to have these opportunities a couple of times in your lifetime to get to a higher level of yourself, a more true level of yourself, be truly wholly you, and come to understand yourself and the world around you. So I love that yours was a really recent one. I think that's a powerful thing.
Yes, we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's a big moment, and it is extremely impactful. And you've got to read. You have to read it. You got to read. You guys, these stories literally will rattle you awake, and they will make you think about the moments in your life that have either rattled you awake or haven't yet rattled you awake, and it will get you thinking about that. So in impactful moments indeed, and again, just so incredibly proud of you for being brave and courageous and putting this from pen to paper, so to speak, because I know this story is gonna impact and inspire so many people around the world, and that is what being an author is all about. It's about leaving a legacy. It's about sharing your gifts, your stories, your hearts, and knowing that it will be there eternally. Mm-hmm. And to know that that's going to impact one person's life. Forget millions. One person's life. It's a ripple effect, and it's an incredible thing. So again, huge congrats to you. Celebrate this moment. We didn't write these stories. We didn't write these stories to be celebrated. We wrote them to impact other people. But I'm going to tell you right now, being a best-selling author, being an author, a published author, is a really big deal. So I want you to celebrate. Tonight is all about that, okay?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. So happy we got to celebrate with you, celebrate you. Oh, now it's with me. Hi, look at that.
Hi, how are you? Yeah,
that's a little uncomfortable. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love so much of what's being said, and I love the way you guys are all supporting Nikki and all the authors here in this program tonight, in this book. And there are a couple of you that came in that we'll say hi to. I saw Zach and Enrique, and Tim Sohn was here. Frank Novak is here. We'll get them all up. You guys, I'm putting them up. Diosa, Nicole is here. Peter Ong is here. Just Al Chan is here. Tracy. Oh, I said okay. So just know how supported and loved you are.
1,000,000%.
And
we're so. Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
As Brian brought up, becoming an author is a huge deal. It's not something that everyone does. Becoming a #1 best-selling author is a tremendous accomplishment. And so I knew because you said Diosa, Nikki, but we're gonna put you in as Diosa. Just like I said, Lonnie Ray is, she's the author. But thank you. We have a number of other authors that we want to introduce you to tonight. Again, these amazing stories. And I was just gonna make sure that his camera's on. No, Willie J, get that camera on for me so I can bring you here, you guys. Another phenomenal author. This is actually his second time being in the Rattled Awake series. That's how amazing an experience it was the first time, and how powerful his stories are. Is that this is his second time around, but I think we might be having trouble with the camera here. I also see that we have some authors from the first book. I saw Nicole, I see Russ Hedge. So cool to have you all with us. Thank you for coming to support this amazing group of authors. Okay, so Will, are you with us? Okay, we're gonna move on. Now, who wants to be the next lucky person? I'm gonna bring on Lonnie Ray because she's wearing 2 hats tonight. She's bringing 2 hats tonight. She's
got 2 hats on.
Yeah, she's got 2 hats on.
Can
Actually,
you
she
guess
doesn't have
what color Lonnie's
any.
gray hats on?
Any hats on? Actually, no hats, but
Okay.
But she's the woman who brought this group together. She started the Rattle Awake movement here. This I'm going to call it a movement. I know it's a book series, it's an anthology, but it's a movement. This is us coming to the table, being raw, being vulnerable, sharing our stories and what has shaped us into the humans we are today, so that other people don't have to feel alone, so other people can see the power in their own stories, so other people can really start to look at themselves and in a completely different light than maybe they're seeing themselves now. So if any one of us, anybody out there, has the opportunity to change one human's life, it's a huge gift, honor, privilege. And so we thank you, Lonnie, for that. And we thank you because not only that, you are an author in this book. So you guys, let's put our hands together and let's welcome Lonnie Ray.
Hello, Sunshine.
What's happening?
What's going on?
Everything. What a day. Oh my God, what a day.
Right? Come on.
Yeah, big time.
Been
Big
an
time.
amazing day. It's
Yes.
been an amazing experience.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Lonnie Ray, you let everybody know what this. Well, how about this? Because there's some people that aren't aware of this series to begin with. So why don't you let everybody know what rattled you awake to want to start this series to begin with?
I was looking at all the things that were happening over the last few years. And as I was talking with someone, I said, surely other people have been rattled awake. And I just kept talking. And then they were like, that's a good title. And I said, okay. And in about half an hour, this whole idea was born. It was like that. It was that instantaneous and such a big yes. And I was like, well, there's got to be other people who have been perspective shifted, whether they liked it or not. And I wonder what their stories are. So we put that little framework on it of 5 years. In the last 5 years, a lot's happened for us. And like you said, Nancy, it's probably more than one thing that shook us. And so I love that we have returning authors because they're like, and Willie's going to be in the next one. He's like, I already got my chapter done. I was like, oh my God. That's awesome. So that's how it got started, was innocent enough, just looking at it and going, there's got to be a way to share this, because I usually write bigger books. And I thought, well, if we do chapters, then everybody can have their say and the collaboration will take it a long way. So that's what happened.
Well said.
I agree. Again, the collaborative piece of this, and I know, Brian, you are a big supporter of this as well, and both of us have done collaborative series. You know, it's maybe hard as a single author, right, to write your whole story out and create a book about it. And what I have found, and why these are such great opportunities, is that for me, that's overwhelming for me. That's something that just feels really big, and I've tried to do it and I'm sitting with it. But when I can write a chapter, one piece, and know that it's part of a bigger story, right? Even though all of our stories are different, it's all the story of being rattled awake. It becomes so much easier, so much more accessible. So I appreciate that you decided. I know you've written in other formats. You are an author through and through, but that you had the idea to bring this to, you know, people working together and having an opportunity to get their story out there in a way that maybe they wouldn't otherwise have been able to.
Yeah, and you know, I like to succinctify stuff. So I was like, let's take the zip line to the finish line. You know, we can get this done quickly, because I've been in a collab before, a collaboration book, and it was painful. It took a long time. It was just like, this might be hard for a weekend, but then it's over. And so, you know, one and done, hon, let's roll. So that's pretty much my style. And I'm amazed at what people have been able to pull through. They don't even know they could do it, and then they did it. It's great to see. Yeah.
Amazing.
Have a good night. No.
Here we are.
This was a good time, guys. Bye. See you later.
So, and Lonnie Ray, as we said, she's a 4-time #1. And maybe I didn't say you're a 4-time #1, the international best-selling author. And Brian, maybe you can very briefly tell people sort of like what the process was for this, because Lonnie, you know, did the quick done weekend of, maybe it's a lot of time and a lot of rolling up your sleeves, but maybe you can share a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, I think the thing is understanding that, as Lonnie Ray shared, these processes are usually much longer. I'm an 11-time #1 best-selling author, and I can tell you that writing in a weekend, taking 72 hours basically to write your chapter in a collaboration book, and then within that time to actually have that book launched is pretty incredible. In fact, I'll be honest with you, like, it's unheard of. Like, I have not heard of an experience like this before. And you know, I will tell you, I think everyone can share that there are moments of uncomfortability. There are moments of, you know, digging deep, and because this is all about being rattled awake, and it's life changing. It's life-changing in terms of the experience that you had that you're sharing, and it's life-changing in terms of this actual experience that we are sharing together. So, yeah, I think it's fantastic. I mean, history in the making is something I'm always very proud to be a part of, and I love that. Every one of the incredible humans that has been on this journey has shared so many different perspectives. And I think the other thing that I love too is the fact that, over the course of this weekend, it is collaboration. It's not just you're writing your chapter, you submit your chapter. You're literally spending hours together, online together like this. You are sharing, you are getting vulnerable, and there is collaboration happening within that. So people are contributing to one another and sharing their thoughts and their voices and their hearts. And I always say incredible. Yes, that's right, David. I always say incredible things happen when we come together, and that's exactly what this is. And I think the coolest part about it is that, again, 72 hours, like a family was born.
Yes.
You had complete strangers coming together that didn't know each other from, the next person. And not only were you getting to learn about them, but it's like, gosh, it really is unique. It is unique, and that's a testament to Lonnie Ray and this movement that was created, and not just once, but now twice, and 3 times a lady is coming soon, and there are going to be more and more incredible stories, incredible journeys, incredible hearts, and rattled awake moments that and this is the thing I think that hits me the most, that will rattle you awake.
Yes.
Thank you. It was, it's amazing. Nancy, your presence brought out something in everybody, and every single person, when they show up, they bring themselves. What else are you going to do? But what happened was it just kind of peeled another layer or added another level to someone's willingness to be authentic and open, and because there's value in that transparency and that vulnerability. And it was like magic. The one thing that intertwines, that weaves us all together, is that one question, and every volume is going to be, what happened over the last 5 years, what happened for you. And so even though the stories are wildly diverse, it's still so relevant. They're all still woven in together somehow, and it's cohesive in its diversity, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Lonnie, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything you've done. We're going to get some other authors on. Stay in the green room, because if we have time, we'll all come back and do a little bit of this together. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for all the love. Love and support that you are offering. Hey, everybody. You guys, if you look at, if you're looking along the bottom, until Thursday night, you can get your free Kindle copy. It's an e-copy right now that you can get for free. So please take a moment, go download it, read the chapters, and just allow yourself that moment to just take it in. And what I would say is, Brian, if you could put that question back up.
I will.
In this moment, and if not right now,
take
this question. Yeah, take this question.
This moment?
If you're here watching.
What about this moment?
Okay, take this question with you.
How about now?
Nope.
Okay.
I know you. This question, take this question with you and think about it. Like, just reflect on what has it been in the last 5 years, because there's been so much going on that, when we stop to think, what has it been? Where have you been? Right? What's happened in the last 5 years? You don't necessarily have to be an author in this series. You can contact Lonnie, but you can find these moments and just reflecting and contemplating that question. All right, so free copy, you guys, go ahead, grab that. And we have a couple more authors that we're going to bring on Willie J. He's actually a 2-time #1 best-selling author. He's going to be a part of the 3rd book too. And that's a testament to what people are getting out of this. And that's, I think, one of the big things is, yes, we're sharing as authors our stories to help others, but, and maybe you can talk a little about this, Willie, is it what we as authors are getting in return. So everybody help me welcome Willie J.
Yeah. Looking sharp. Looking sharp. Look at you.
Oh, wait.
I'll be like you when I grow up, man.
No, that's the other way around, brother.
We're doing great, man. How are you doing, man? You got another one bestseller under your belt. Come on, that's incredible.
Oh man, it's so surreal, man. It's happening fast, man. Shouts out to the legendary Lonnie, man, for the invitation and putting this amazing, impactful book series together, man. You know, I'm just elated to be a part of it, brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Yeah. All right, so tell us, like, what was it that, you know, and you said, man, I got to be a part of this. I gotta share my rattled awake moment.
Yeah, that's a good question, Brian. Yeah, man. As I said before, Lonnie's a visionary. Us visionary like energy, you know, tends to hang around like energy. It attracts like energy, and I heard about the vision behind it, man. And anything that's, you know, that has something to do with creating more hope and impacting more lives, we're a part of that. That's what we at PME are all about: creating hope through arts and entertainment and empowering people, changing lives, bro. And as much as we're grateful for being a part of volume 1 and 2, I think just knowing that people are in dire need, man, the world is actually in a rattled awake moment. You know what I mean? I think it's about timing and alignment. You know what I'm saying? And what I found interesting was, you know, when the first volume dropped, which was about growing with the flow, you know, we got before the editor of Morocco Forbes had finalized the proofs, man. You know, they had an earthquake, and it ended up killing thousands of people, man. It was kind of a surreal moment. So I just believe it, man. It's in alignment with the universe and God, bro. And you know, you're just grateful for all the lives that's been reported to be impacted by our chapters, but not just writing mere words, man. And when I heard about Rattled Awake, just that, it had a ring to it. You know what I'm saying? It had this certain twang. And I'm like, Rattled Awake. If there's ever a time where people need to be awakened spiritually, mentally, with their energy, physically, in every aspect of the human anatomy, it's now, right now, bro. And that's, you know what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
I believe we're a part of history here, and you know, as leaders need to stick together, and especially in times like these. So, you know, that's pretty much it, man. You know, I was down when I heard the vision behind it, and I'm like, hey, an opportunity to empower more people. Let's go.
Amen to that, brother. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think the timing of this series, it was pivotal. I think it's just so important right now. I think there's so many people that are suffering and struggling in silence, and I think I know that your story is going to inspire and impact someone to look within, either that's going through their own rattled awake moment right now, or they start to think about that. So without, you know, giving it all away, which, by the way, we are doing, you can get your copy of Rattled Awake Volume 2 now for free until Thursday night at midnight.
That was good. So without giving it all away, and actually we are. That was good. You're a professional, huh?
Oh, no, not at all. I just look pretty. So all right. So Willie, again, without giving it away. Yes. Without giving it away. What has been the single biggest event over the past 5 years that caused you to completely change your perspective and rattled you awake?
Oh man, I'll say within the last 5 years, I talk about surviving to thrive. It's kind of a sequel to the first volume's chapter, Growing with the Flow. And if you collaborate those two, in order to survive and leave survival mode, you and enter into the thrive mode, you must learn to grow with the flow, the unexpected. So without going into the story actually and not, ruining the movie, it's cinematic to be with all these legends, man. Like Brian and Nancy and Lonnie, like that, right? And I think what you'll find is that most people live in survival mode, and I kind of go through a little journey, if you will, and take the readers on a little journey and show them how to leave that mode and leverage their pain. I have a new quote besides going with the flow. It's leverage every moment, whether it be good or bad. So it's pretty much the gist what you're gonna take away from that chapter.
And I love the title, like Surviving to Thrive. For me, it's like, I'm going to read your chapter, but even just looking through the table of contents, I'm like, it's a little light bulb for a lot of people, like surviving to thrive. And it's certainly for the past 5 years, like it is absolutely what we've all been doing, right? Yeah. Surviving to get through, and now it's time to thrive. And you guys read Willie's chapter, you'll see it. You'll get that motivation, just like you will from everybody else's chapter. Read them all, honestly, read them all, because everybody's Rattled Awake moment, we come to it differently. We have learned different things from it. And when you take all of this together, like, think about the knowledge you're getting in one book from 12 different authors all in one place. So I encourage you to download your free copy and go ahead and take a moment and read each of those chapters really thoughtfully and give yourself some time with them. They're pretty powerful thing. They're powerful stories that are really transformative.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you read those stories, if they hit you the way they have hit each one of us, share a review. Yeah. Share a review. Give the book a 5-star review. Share your thoughts. Share whatever emotions you were feeling about whose ever chapter or the book in general that you were feeling. I can tell you that it means so much to all of these incredible authors to hear that, feel that, and for you to share that with each and every one involved. So
yeah, and knowing one review, you can talk about more than one chapter. Don't feel like you have to limit yourself to just one chapter.
Oh, no, not at all. And I just want to say, like, you're looking fly tonight, Willie. You got the sport coat on and everything, man. You're looking good.
Yeah, somewhere to be.
Oh yeah, that's how you do. I know.
He's taking hands and kissing babies. He's got a lot going on here.
There you go. Well,
I appreciate it, man. You guys looking great as well, man. Looking great.
Thank you for sharing your story, for getting vulnerable.
So much love to you.
Salute, man.
Lots of
In-home studio audience, give it up for Willie J. All right,
guys, this is amazing. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, you can get your free download of Rattled Awake Volume 2 on Amazon right now.
That's right.
Now. Okay, maybe don't do it right now because we want you here.
Maybe now.
Right? No. Okay. You're gonna do that all right?
Now. Okay. All right. This is about being better, not bitter. Your 12 life-changing stories of how one incident dramatically shifted the lives for the better. If you're just joining us, welcome to the launch party of the now #1 bestseller, Rattled Awake Volume 2. You're here to meet the authors. You're here to hear their stories. You're here to celebrate them. And you're here to get that book because it's free until Thursday at midnight. Then you got to pay for it. So get your book.
Download it. Tell other people. Tell your friends. This is a great opportunity. Really, it is. Hey, Melrose, thank you. And the next person we're going to bring on happens to be a first-time author and a first-time #1 best-selling author. So let's talk about that for a second, right? The first time that you are published and you get to be a #1 best-selling author. Congratulations, Doug. We're so happy.
Come on. Hey,
what's happening? It's always tough following Willie. I mean, we have the same hairdo, but that's about it.
That's right. I mean, you're much better looking than I am, Doug. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, so thanks a lot for having me. This is it was a very emotional weekend. Let's just say they put me in there for comic relief. Everybody's got to have a gesture. So that's my role.
There you go. Nah, I think you add more value than just that. But you're an incredible human, And, I was so excited to hear that you were going to be a part of this second book in the series. And so tell us, Doug, like what made you want to be a part of this history making series? And well, let's start there. Yeah.
Well, Chef Jill was extorting me, and
she's good like
She's
that.
not even
So,
here to defend herself. She's backstage.
Yeah,
I know.
To be fair, there was a couple people in here I knew. Brian, one of them, and Nancy, Deborah. I'll get it in a minute. I've met you a couple. It's been about 3 months since Steve Sullivan's thing. I mean, we're paying the tribute to Steve, and but just to be honest, it was sounding like such a wonderful opportunity. I call myself a storyteller, and the name of the chapter is Universe's Storyteller. And to be a true storyteller, I think you have to have a book somewhere. Give me a microphone, I can talk for days. That's not a problem. And writing a book was something I always wanted to have done, not do, but have done. Because I'd struggled to write a LinkedIn post. If I was trying to get 300 words, it would take me days because I was trying to edit at the same time I was trying to write, which my two sides of the brains were having an argument. And so I said, well, okay, this is a challenge. So let's get this done over the weekend. I trust Jill a lot, and I talked to Lonnie before, and I said, okay, yeah, we can do this. And when I saw Brian, in here and Nancy Deborah in here, I said, okay, I can do this. There's friends in here. So I didn't write a word of this story until Sunday morning. I didn't have anything. I had ideas running around in my head, and I spent 3.5 hours and I knocked out 3,600 words. I mean, that's like I'd never written that many before, because it just started to flow. It connected. I've been thinking about things. So that was a process. I mean, the moment, I'm a bit of a slow learner in that it wasn't one. Over the past 5 years, there's been several moments. It's sort of like when you were back in junior high and you were in a physical science class, you were trying to guess the weight of something on this scale, and you put a gram up here or something, and you finally, so they backed a dump truck worth of those things up. And it finally dawned on me not too long ago that, hey, I need to go ahead and listen to the universe. It's been trying to give me hints about things. And it had to do with work, but it didn't really have to do with work. I meant to do bigger things, but again, the part of the brain that does flight or flight was quite busy doing random things. So this was a great opportunity to do it. The stories that I heard from all of you, Brian, you actually started this, so I'll blame you. You started this about 5 years ago. If you remember, I reached out to you when I saw this, and I said, look, I don't think I have a story to tell. And we went through a few sessions and stuff, and man, you gave me a book's worth of stories to tell. And that started me on this path. And then, so there was some stumbling and stuff along the way, fits and starts. But again, as I look back, it's easy to connect the dots looking back at all the little moments. And really it was the universe saying, okay, here's an opportunity, you need to take it. Okay, here's another one, you need to take it. And finally it came to a point in the story where it smacked me on the head, says, okay, now you need to pay attention. We tried to do this nicely, and now you need to go do something. So that's really sort of what it is. It's my stories have movies in it. They have themes. They have other things. I try to bring a lot of visuals to that, and it was just really fantastic to have that written out. So I appreciate the opportunity. And Lonnie was such a great coordinator, encourager, horse wrangler, just about everything to keep us all on
rider
and get the best out of us.
He was pretty much herding cats, at
Whip
different
Walker,
points.
I don't know.
As we would all start to lose focus,
Yeah.
I feel like we couldn't do it. She had to really wrangle us in, and
yeah,
she's great at that. She's really great at that.
So I mean, it's such a wonderful opportunity to connect with all these people. In reading the chapters, as we was reading each other's, my eyes were leaking big time. It was just really tough. So I mean, it was tough in a good way, right? It was one of those things where you get through it. You've been through. This is the perfect story arc in that the hero struggles and struggles and struggles. At the end, comes out of it and beats it. So me as a storyteller, that really, there were so many different ways to tell a story, and they all did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and I will say, because I've I've known you for a few years now. You are an incredible storyteller, and you have a gift in the way that you draw people in, and it's multidimensional. You feel like you are in the story. We feel like you're you. So without necessarily giving it all away, Doug, like what's been that single biggest moment over the past 5 years that caused you to completely change your perspective?
Yeah, I think it was that realization when in corporate life, you have to be a strange animal to thrive in corporate life. And it was just one of these annual events that come up that put things in perspective, that I don't have all the time in the world to go do something I want to do. Right. And just because I'm good at something doesn't mean that's what I'm destined for. So it sort of shined a light in the dark on the things that I can play on bigger stages and do bigger things, even though I was comfortable with what I was doing and having fun. So there was a movie, I think it was called The Rookie, that had one of the I can't remember his name. One of the brothers, Quaid, not
Yeah,
Randy.
Randy
Dennis-
Quaid.
Yeah, it was no, Dennis Quaid. He was
Dennis
in it.
Quaid. It's a great
Yeah.
movie.
And his dad was saying, sometimes you have to give up on what you want to do to give up what you were meant to do. Right. And then that's why, little movie things like that really hit home to me, little quotes. And that was sort of what it is. It was time to go do what I was meant to do, not necessarily what I was comfortable and good at doing. So
Yeah, I'm super proud of you, man. Super proud of you.
Thank
You got it. I've said it, not a million times yet, but it will be by the end of this broadcast. Is that you've got to get this book. So get your free copy now of Rattled Away.
Right now? Right
yeah,
now?
Right now.
Second. Yeah, do it now. Yeah.
How about now?
Yes, you can do it now too. I don't know how many times you can actually buy it yourself. I mean, I guess if a paperback you can buy multiple of, but I think you can only download one of the of the Kindle version. But it lasts until Thursday at midnight. So go to Amazon.com, DP, blah blah blah, all that at the end right there, and let's see how you get rattled away from that. Doug Thompson, we love you. We appreciate you. You are now our #1 best-selling author. We are celebrating you. Huge congrats, man.
Thanks.
All right, awesome. Let's say hi to everybody in the comments, because we have so many people that have been joining us. Nancy Dara. By the way, Positive Vibe Tribe, it is so good to see you around the world. We have missed you. As you know, we have not been present like this in a minute. But we, like you, preach self-care, and that is exactly what we've been doing, because we have needed it. Why? Because we got burnt out. After 5 years and 500 consecutive episodes, twice a week, every week, we have so enjoyed. Lonnie's got glasses now in her head. Those are so cool. We have so enjoyed every minute that we have been with you, and we have ached over not being with you, but at the same time, it has been a healing and important process for the two of us, with so much going on in our lives. So we love you. We appreciate you. We're so happy that you're with us right now, and want to say hi to you.
It totally fills our hearts to know that even in our absence, when we show up, you guys show up for us, as you always do. Thank you so much. And slightly off topic is that as creators, as people who do live shows, when you take a break, I think as humans also, if you take a break and step away, there's always this fear that you'll be forgotten, right? And so thank you for making us feel seen, heard, loved, and valued. It is deeply appreciated. Saying hi to Frank Novak. Thank you for being here. Tim Sohn jumped in. I don't know if you're still here, Tim. Good to see you. I said hi to Nicole, but let's put up she's one of the authors from the first volume. And so she's here with us. And Peter, we said hi to. Enrique, we said hi to. We can just keep saying hi again. Keston, thank you for being here. We really appreciate that, from Trinidad and Tobago. Sorry, I'm really not sure which one it is, so I'm going to say both. Brian, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for celebrating us. Thank you for celebrating these authors. David, thank you also for being here. We do appreciate you guys taking your time to be here with us. We know that time is precious, and you're choosing to spend it with us is something we so appreciate. Hi, Felipe. It's good to see you. I wonder if Copper's sitting next to you right now. We've got Dr. Martin Pratt here. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Linda, thank you for being here. And Doug is the best, right?
Is.
Isn't he amazing?
Yes.
We have Mosh here. Thank you so much again to all of you for being here. To be celebrated is a really special thing. So thank you for being here to celebrate us, to celebrate with us. Don't forget, you can get your free copy on Amazon, your ebook. It's free until Thursday night. You've got it right here.
Yep, right here.
And before we bring on our next author, I just want to say that when I'm listening to people's stories, especially first-time authors who have tried and have been stuck and have not been able to put pen to paper in a way that feels meaningful to them, to hear them say that going through this process with Lonnie Ray and the group that you will be with, if you choose to be part of this series, if you're interested, contact Lonnie, that people who didn't think they could do it before are suddenly authors, and they are best-selling authors. So
yes,
if it's been a dream of yours, contact Lonnie Ray, please, or any of us. If you want to know about the process, contact any of us. And before you leave here tonight, please also make sure that you get connected with one another. If you're talking in the comments, if you don't know any of the authors, please reach out. It's one of the most beautiful things about this platform and these opportunities for us to go live is the community that we get to build around it. We're going to say hi to Flat Billy. Yay! Hi, Flat Billy.
Yeah, I want to tack on something you just said. Hey, Sue-Ann, how are you? And this is incredible, you guys. So you're experiencing what it's like to be a part of a #1 best-selling launch party for a book.
And Tanya.
Hi, Tanya. You too can be a part of this experience, you guys. This is a Rattled Awake anthology series. There have now been 2 books published, both #1 bestsellers. The 3rd book is coming. You have the opportunity to be a part of this life-changing, history-making series. So reach out to any one of us. Reach out to Lonnie Ray, the biggest heart behind this series. It's where it all came from and created. You guys, we have all been rattled awake, and that is what this series is all about. It is about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. It is about sharing that rattled awake moment in your life that has shook you from the last 5 years. And I'm telling you right now, it'll set you free. It'll shake you in a way you have not been shook. I think I've just gotten them all covered. It'll shake your world.
I forgot shaked.
Shaked. Thank you. Yes, we're going to shake a little bit later. All right. We have more authors to introduce you to, right, Nancy Deborah? Who are we bringing on next?
We do. We have another first-time #1 best-selling author who wrote most of this book apparently while he was in the shower. So maybe he can tell us a little bit about that. Yeah,
That's
I know.
incredible.
Talent. We were hoping that maybe Bob had some waterproof paper or something in the shower with him, but please help us welcome Bob to the show. You're muted, so unmute yourself before you drop your wisdom there, Bob.
I'm doing that. Okay.
What's up? Good looking?
Yes, Tanya.
All right, you're good.
Okay, sorry, guys. Okay.
No.
Being human.
I'm doing great. I'm great. Great to be here. Who was the shower story from, Nancy?
I remember you saying that you came back the second day and you were like, I wrote 5,000 words in the shower, kind of thing. And
yeah, I was just joking around. No, actually, I wound up writing that one night. I wound up just writing a bunch of stuff. I never even dreamed of being an author before. It wasn't even on my bucket list. Now it's on my bucket list. Now it's checked off my bucket list. So I'm very happy about that.
Yes.
Just amazed to be here.
Phenomenal.
It's really, really a pleasure to be here. And I want you to tease your chapter. It's a very personal story, and it brings to light a very important issue.
Sure. Yeah, I had a couple rattles going on at that time. First one was I had a catastrophic injury, and that's kind of where it started. And then it kind of morphed into, I'm a veteran also, morphed into kind of the veteran situation, then veteran suicide, which I've been very involved with from day one after I got hurt. And it's a tragic story. It really is. I've experienced a lot of it, and it's there's not enough support. There's not enough treatment that's going on out there. The number's been very steady for a long time. There's many people doing, veteran suicide. You see them all over the place. We're stop veteran suicide, this, that, but the needle doesn't move. The needle stays the same. It's a 22, 23, 24 a day, 8,000 a year. So it's a big number, it's sad. And I volunteered to go work at the Office of Mental Health and Suicide Prevention over at the VA. And I found some interesting information there. And I decided to put my own program together, which I believe will move the needle, significantly. And it's the proven model that's already out there that nobody really, people know about this. I just don't know why they do it. It's not something that I've made up. It's finders keepers. It's under a pile somewhere that people just ignored. So yeah, that's what happened. So I found this thing, and now I've kind of got some ideas about it. I'm starting to build a program, so I'm talking to people at the VA and outside the VA as well. And I hope to see this thing through very quickly. I know it's going to happen.
I agree. And I will say that you present things that I had never heard before or known about before. So you are shining light on this problem in a way that I, at least personally, and I think a lot of us in the group sort of had the same reaction to, is like, we had no idea. We had no idea about the numbers, how high they were, or like I don't want to share, but some of these programs that are out there, they're not being utilized, the success that can be had with these. So you guys pick up the book and read this chapter. It really is, like I said, it's vulnerable and real, and it's an amazing insight that you would not otherwise have to this issue of veteran suicide.
It's impactful, Bob. It's really impactful. And I love what you said a minute ago. I never thought about being an author, but now I am. Check it off the bucket list. I think the incredible thing about it is that, you were drawn in with a need to share and make people aware of something that they didn't or don't. And in doing so, you are creating a ripple effect of awareness that is so important and needed. So I just thank you so much for being a part of this book, a part of this series, a part of our lives, and a part of everyone else who picks up this book. Thank you so much, Tanya. Don't forget to write your review.
Go ahead, write that review again. You guys, there's so many chapters. We understand you are able to review the book as a whole. You're able to review more than one author and chapter in your review. So whatever strikes you, however you're feeling, please. The more reviews that we get, the more people, when they show up to buy the book, the more they'll be able to just feel what this is about. So thank you.
Yeah, so appreciate it. And again, Bob, just so appreciate you, man. So thank you for being you, and thank you for all that you do.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys.
And if you're able to, you guys hang around in the green room. Hopefully we'll have time to get everybody back on. Hi, Joey, thank you.
Hey, Joey.
And we're going to do it again. We're going to let you know because it's free. Who doesn't love free? Come on, free.
That's right. Yes.
At Amazon. And as you look at the bottom, as it goes across, you will see the link. It is free now through Thursday night. We are talking about what? We're talking about Rattled Awake, Volume 2, the #1 best-selling book that's part of this anthology. Rattled Awake Volume 1 is out. It's also a #1 bestseller, and now #2. And #3 is coming. Like I said, if you guys are looking to be an author, if you think that you can't do it, you've heard stories about, people are like, I was never an author. I had never written a word. And somehow in a weekend, they became authors and #1 best-selling authors. So if you're interested, please contact Lonnie Ray or any one of the authors that are here in this collaborative series or the previous one.
It's fine, Nancy. Deborah, answer the call. I know it's your dad or your mom.
It's my dad. Hang on.
It's fine. Answer it. It's okay. So while Nancy Deborah's talking to your dad, this is called being human. This is real life. Better Not Bitter. This is 12 life-changing stories of how one incident dramatically shifted the lives of these incredible human beings, of all of us. So welcome to the launch party, the #1 bestseller, Rattled Awake, Volume 2. You're meeting the authors, you're hearing the stories, you're hearing what rattled them awake. And it's absolutely incredible. No matter what has happened over the past 5 years, It's time to allow optimism to enter, and each Rattled Awake moment brings a gift. So this is about enjoying the treasures of each of these incredible humans, these incredible authors, these huge hearts who have so freely shared these moments that have rattled them awake. And we hope that inspires you to rewrite the next chapter of your life. It's incredible.
And if
It's
you want to be
incredible.
a part of Volume 3, there is still time
Yes.
because the weekend, I always call it a boot camp. That sounds a little bit cruel. But the weekend workshop.
Oh, boot camp. No, it's a boot camp. You
Boot camp,
get
it's a
comfortable.
weekend-
Yeah, get ready.
It's a weekend workshop for sure, and it is starting. You've got some time. The next one is October 20th through 22nd. So if you're free and your calendar is open and you're interested in doing this, there it is. Thank you. Here you go. Here's your opportunity. And
Bonnie Ray, do we have the link, by the way? Is that page up yet or not yet? Or actually, I should even ask, is there still space left?
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll let you know as we keep going here.
For some reason, I feel like she would make space.
I have a feeling.
She's
Yes.
very much about having people's stories shared and told. Very passionate about that, and she lights that passion in each and every one of us.
Indeed. There was a great question that was just asked. How much is the workshop?
So, Lonnie, you can reach out to Tanya maybe and share with her how it works and all of that. Go for it, you guys. It really is. Tanya, would be an amazing experience for you. It's really an amazing experience for anyone. But if you are ready to share your story, now would be the time. Okay, before we lose people.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I want to thank the incredible authors that have been sitting and have lost feeling of their butts. We appreciate you, and we're going to bring you on. We're going to bring you on right now. So, Nancy, Deborah, without further ado, who are we bringing on next to highlight?
We're going to bring on Chiesta, who had another incredible story. She'll tell you a little bit her tease about her chapter. I will say that, from beginning of end to weekend, she came in beautiful and brave and left somehow gorgeous and a warrior. Like how it can get bigger and better, I don't know. But it was such an honor to be a part of seeing that happen, coming in kind of shy in the beginning, the first night, and then opening up and then sharing herself and her chapter. So everybody, please help us welcome Chiesta.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the generous introduction, Nancy. And thank you, Brian, for both of you for putting this on.
No, our pleasure. We're happy to celebrate. There's good reasons to celebrate. Let's do it.
Definitely.
So share with us a little bit in the last 5 years, what was the Rattled Awake moment, without giving away your whole chapter, that you chose to write about?
So what shook me, I guess, in the last 5 years is that I moved countries. So I moved 10,000 miles away from Zimbabwe, which is where I was born and raised. But I've been a bit of a nomad because I've been lucky enough to have lived, worked, and gone to school on 4 countries in 4 different continents. So, but, as we know with education, for the most part, we taught, go to school, get good grades, and get the good job. So my main nugget that I was sharing more was, how can we find a better way to make a life and a living and not work so hard for so little? So for me, the way to do that, I'm a daughter of entrepreneurs. So my parents were entrepreneurs for 40 plus years. And so they always taught me to treat every human being like royalty. So relationship building has always been a core part of me. So one aspect of my miracle playground in the past 4 months has been LinkedIn, in terms of the LinkedIn audio rooms. That's how I met Lonnie, who's a fantastic woman. we met over virtual coffee with plenty of laughter and plenty of tears. And then next thing I knew, I was 5 days later in the workshop. I was like, oh, okay, that was fast. And I got to meet all of you wonderful, amazing people. Yes, at first I felt rather whelmed when I came into the room. I was like, whoa, okay, who are all these people? But I appreciated the space and the energy of the intention to help each other grow, to help each other open up so that our true stories can come out, that we could share with the world. So thank you for that.
Well, I think your warm presence, that beautiful smile, and as Lonnie Ray says, sunshine with legs, you helped us all to feel comfortable, getting vulnerable and sharing our story. And that is one of the things about how these weekend workshops work, is you really do support one another through the process. You're not alone. You get the opportunity to be in what I like to call brave space. It's not safe space, because it's not just one person getting vulnerable and we're going to say, we're going to be here to support you, don't worry. It's all of us saying we're willing to get vulnerable together, and share these parts of us and take off the masks and show up fully ourselves. So appreciate you. So appreciate you being here. If you can stay, feel free to stay. We have a few more authors. My goodness, you guys are amazing for hanging out here. Keep smiling. That smile of yours really is. You are sunshine with legs.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to continuing the journey.
Yes.
Wonderful, and congratulations again on becoming a #1 best-selling author.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Hang on,
And
I wrote it down.
congratulations
It's
to
your
you both
first
too.
time being a #1 best-selling
Yes,
author. I'm
this
so
is, right?
sorry I missed that part. We're celebrating
Yes.
you. We're celebrating you
So,
and
thank you.
who you are and everything you do.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right.
We still
Want
have
to keep
quite a
things
few.
going?
Anyone with time constraints, let me know. And she is a ray of light. I agree. We have so many beautiful spirits here, offering so much with their stories. It's not easy, despite how it might seem when you go read those chapters, to put yourself out there in that way. And again, we speak to the fact of this group and the way Lonnie does her books, and you have the opportunity to enter into brave space together. I want to, because I see you guys are waiting, I want to bring on Leslie, who's a second-time author, and this is her first #1 best-selling book, so we're celebrating that with you. Welcome. It is also her first time live, so you guys pause it 5 seconds. You know what we do. You know how we welcome people. It's their first time. Come on, let's do it.
Amazing.
Hey y'all, how are you?
We're doing great. How are you?
Doing well.
Fantastic. So, what has it been like for you to be a part of this, history making series?
A bit overwhelming, but in a good way. My story, what I thought would be my story, ended up being a different story. A story, I guess, that probably needed to come out. A story that ultimately really pushed me towards some healing that I needed to do. And it's a process. It's a little ongoing process. And my hopes, of course, are for someone to read it and not feel sorry for me, but to actually learn something from it. My story is not for sympathy in any sort of way. It's hopefully not that I want someone to relate to what I've gone through, but if they have to relate to what I've gone through, that they could learn from it and learn in a healthy way.
Leslie was super dedicated that for a good part of this workshop, she was actually on the road. She was on the road passengering, and she still figured out how to show up. I don't know if you passed through states, cities, towns, what you were doing, but she managed to be there not only for herself, but for all of us.
I was passing through all of Texas, which, takes like forever, right?
And I think like sharing the story is not about the sympathy or even the empathy. It's wonderful to have people share and flow that type of energy toward us. But absolutely, if someone finds themselves in a similar position to where we've been, or can even imprint their story on ours, maybe it's not exactly the same. It's the beauty of stories, right? They don't have to be exactly the same for us to relate and learn from one another. And I'm watching Lonnie Ray cry, and I'm sending you a big hug, love, because I know this is your baby. This whole series is your baby, and I know Leslie had a story that touched all of our hearts. Not that they don't all, but Leslie, you really came in with such wisdom and insight to your own story. It was It was beautiful. Everybody does such an amazing job here. It's hard to say that, like, oh my God, yours was amazing. They all are. But I know that what you're sharing is going to resonate with a lot of people, and a lot of people do need to hear. Unfortunately, I think there are a lot of people who find themselves in the position you were in, and you guys are going to have to read the chapter to find out. I'm not going to tell you. So
That's
you'll have
right.
to download your free copy to find out what this is all about. But it really, yeah, they're right down there. We are so grateful that you were so dedicated and from the road decided to join us and give us feedback and share yourself with us. Thank you so much. Congratulations on being a #1 best-selling author. We will continue to celebrate you and all the authors. Thank you for being here with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
And guess
We're so
what?
proud of you.
Now you've been live. You don't ever have to say it's your first time again. You did it. Not only did you survive, but as Willie J would say, you thrived here with us tonight.
Yes.
So there you go. Beautifully
There it
done.
is. Well done, love. Well done.
All right.
Yum.
Oh gosh, I keep doing that.
That's all right. Go ahead, Les.
I was just saying that y'all made it easy, so I appreciate it.
Super proud of you.
Thank you.
So many firsts.
It was an honor to be a part of it. I love our little group.
I do too. And we're gonna take you out for a second. And I know that like other people who were the Rattled Awake Volume 1 people are like, no, I love my group. My group was the best group. And we're all, my group was the best
One
group.
big happy family.
Volume 3 is like, no, it's gonna be ours. But that's just the power of what's happening during these weekend workshops, of the way that we show up for one another in those times. I have gremlins. Apparently, they're being removed. Okay, thank you. We have a beautiful ability as humans to share and bond with one another in a beautiful way, especially when we allow ourselves to get vulnerable. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, Dr. Michaela and Jill and Jean. Anyone have any time constraints before I just randomly pop someone in here?
I think Jill's taken 2 naps already.
Jill, do you need to come on fast?
Yeah, Jill has cooked enough for an entire army at this point.
I'm going to bring on, since no one has a time constraint, Dr. Michaela. Who, again, you guys, I sound like a broken record because the stories and the humans that showed up for this book and these chapters are incredible. It's simply incredible. So please help me and Brian and all of us authors to welcome Dr. Michaela.
Hello, I didn't expect to be next.
I know. I started to give people a warning in the private chat, and then totally fell apart. So my apologies for springing this on you, but I know you're ready.
Right. Yes, you're right. I'm ready. So it was quite a weekend coming on Friday and thinking, how can I be close to any of these people? And by Saturday morning, we had shared so much of ourselves and really empathized and had a lot of compassion with each other's stories.
Yeah. Compassion, it's a great word. There was a lot of compassion that happened over the weekend. And I think we started Friday, many of us going, I'm not sure how this is going to work. I don't know these people. I don't know anything about them. I don't know if they're like me or whatever. But, when you have people show up real, it's kind of hard not to fall in love with them.
Right. That's exactly what we did too. And everyone's stories were very ordinary and they led to extraordinary results.
Right. We had all been living life, right? We had all been living life and being human. And that's what our stories were about. And I think many of us even felt like, well, my story isn't extraordinary. Like, especially when you have lived your story, it just becomes something you're so used to, you don't necessarily see the power in it and the way it can inspire others. And so now here's where I'm going to lead into, without giving it away, of course, I always want to remind everyone, what has been the single biggest event over the past 5 years that caused you to completely change your perspective, your rattled awake moment?
I discovered the subject of my dissertation.
Oh.
And I've been studying mindfulness for about 10 years. And when I got to the dissertation, I said, I'm studying mindfulness. And my committee chairperson said, no, you have to study people. And so I found the population that has the least amount of research about it, and that was dads. And
Mm.
then from there, I don't want to give it away because it's just so much fun, and there's secret code words and things like that to play mindfulness with the children. So
And I have to say, I didn't know about Daddy Rocks, which is the title of your chapter. And as I was listening to your story, I thought, oh my gosh, there's such brilliance and simplicity.
Yes,
There
there
is such
really
brilliance
is.
and simplicity. And so for you all to figure out what that is, to find out what that is, you got to download the free ebook and read Dr. Michaela's chapter and really just feel your heart grow the entire time you are reading. Incredible. Thank you.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Yes. And again, just huge congratulations to you on being a part of this incredible anthology series and becoming a number best-selling author, and more importantly, just sharing your heart, sharing your story, and knowing that it will be here for eternity to impact
Oh,
lives.
yes. Very good. Thank you.
It's an incredible gift. So we so
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hang around if you're able. I know it's been a long time. You guys have been so patient. Okay, I'm going to give you the heads up now. I'm going to do Jill, then Jean. It's not alphabetical, but those are the two. Oh, Jean, you want to come first? All right, Jean's going to gather himself and dry his
Jean's
tears.
like, but wait a minute, I
Come
already
back.
took 2 showers. I can get another one in. Come on.
He's written, volume 3, 4, and 5 chapters while he's
There you go.
taking
Exactly.
rest. But we have a
Yeah.
very special woman who's joining us, and is one of those people who she's just like everyone here, incredibly giving, and has a way of sharing things that reach so many. In this chapter, in this second book in the anthology, and she's also part of the first, so she's at least a two-time number one, easy for me to say, two-time number one best-selling author, and a beautiful
Yeah.
human. And
she's also an international best-selling author.
this is true. And she's also
Yes.
a chef and a mom and so many other things that,
And a huge-hearted human.
And she's a beautiful human. So let's bring Jill on. Help us welcome Jill. And
oh boy,
more about you.
I'm pretty dark, aren't I? I didn't realize I was going to be so dark.
You light up every room.
How's that? I'm into
Fabulous.
the light.
There you go. Now you're like an angel. You got your halo going. Perfect.
How are you guys?
Wonderful.
We're doing great. How are you?
Oh, good. Wonderful. I'm awake now.
Yes, you are. You've been rattled awake.
I've been rattled awake.
Now,
yeah,
Jill, I was just going to say, I know that this book, well, these books, this anthology, this process, it has it's really been impactful on you, and
yes, it has.
and you are not shy about sharing that with the world, and I love that about you, because you've been screaming from the rooftops, and I'd love to, you have, and I love it, and shining the light bright like you do. Yes, exactly. Would love to have you share with everyone, why this series, why these books, and the impact that this has had on you, and then we'll get to your rattled awake moment.
Well, I really just feel like this book anthology, the whole series, is going to go down in history. It's just been, hasn't it? It's just been so amazing. And the stories that are told in the books are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It truly is. And we're seeing more and more of your story unfold, right? This is the second one.
Yes.
And again, testament to this process, to what it is doing to us as authors and what it's offering the world and the value that we all are seeing in it. So your chapter, as all of them, is a very personal one. What has been the single biggest event over the past 5 years that caused you to completely change your perspective, your rattled awake moment?
Well, it started like a lot of older people. I retired in March, wondering what to do. And then I hopped into the Rattled Awake series. And then, like you, Nancy, I'm taking care of my mother. And I shared some of that story on LinkedIn, how I was put in charge of caretaking for my mother. And my sister came, and we tried to figure out things that she really loved. She's almost 92. So we wanted to go in and find the things that she really loved that she couldn't do anymore. So she had a huge flower garden and it was amazing. I mean, she has the greenest thumb around and it had died. So we got in there and we dug out the garden. We went to the nearest nursery. I think we bought like $500 worth of plants and things like that. We revamped all of her. I mean, I put in a drip system. I mean, we just did so much for my mom. And I wanted to share that with LinkedIn. And so I did. And I took a picture of my sister Lindsay, me and my mom, and the flowers that, and Lonnie said, you should share that in your next anthology in your story. And so I did, but I didn't want to make it a downer. So I threw in some pretty funny stories. You know, older people can be pretty demanding and they can be very blunt and they can tell you what they think. One of the stories in my chapter was about us going to restaurants, and I absolutely hate going to restaurants with my mom. It's awful. The coffee's too cold, and she'll look at the waitress and she'll say, "Is the coffee fresh?" Every time, right? But we do it because we love it. We want to get them out of the house and whatever. So I shared about 3 really funny stories. I also shared about abuse. You know, a lot of caregivers are abusive to elderly people. So I shared a couple stories about that. And one of the things I'm going to have to say is growing up, I was kind of a cowgirl and I never spent time in the house. I was always riding my horse outside or helping on the farm with my dad. So I was super close to my dad, but I never knew my mom. I really never got to know her. My sisters, they used to sew and cook, and I never did that. So this gave me the opportunity to get to know my mother and to get to know her on a more personable, a deeper level. And writing it just was amazing. I wrote about things that are kind of personal yet funny about my mom. Grandma Joan.
Grandma Joan, well, you made it all very relatable. And I think, again, Lonnie had put something, I think, in the comments that said, you know, it relates to anyone that has a mother, but the way you were able to bring us through the journey. And like you said, not a downer, lots of humor, lots of upside, lots of stuff that makes it so that, you know, if you're in that position like I am, you can laugh. And it gave me permission to laugh because there's so much that goes on. Like you said, is the coffee fresh? For my mom, it's like, you know, is anyone ever going to say no? Who do you think they're going to say no? It's not fresh, you know, or like how many different seats does she have to put her rear in to find the right one? That's like sort of the game. Like how it's like musical chairs. Okay, Maxine, which one are we? Okay, do you like? Can we think beforehand? You know, what is it that you're looking for exactly? Maybe we can accommodate. You know, but all of those things where you could start to feel like an awful human if you don't have the opportunity to talk to other people about it and get that moment of laughter out of it. So
and the thing is, it happens every day, 10 times a day. And so in my chapter, I say, you better have patience and you better put a lot of patience and smiles in your back pocket because you're going to have to pull them out all day because older people, when they're going through dementia, they forget that they've asked you that. Right. And so they'll ask you it again and again and again. And one of the things that was pretty intense for me is my mom is closer to my older sister. And so she would, whenever I would tell a story of my family, like my grandkids having a soccer game or something like that, or scoring, she would interject, well, Shannon's kids And I'll tell you what, that every day to take care of somebody and to spend your time there and to give everything to that and to hear about the other sister and their accomplishments can be pretty tough. And so in that story, I didn't really talk about that, but that can be very hard when you're taking care of an elderly person and you're not the favorite.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know, again, that is not unique to you, unfortunately, but at the same time, you're sharing it. Again, I think a lot of these stories let people exhale for the first time. They really just sort of go, okay, it's not just me, or I'm not an awful human, or, I can get past this. I always say there's always someone that's ahead of us that gives us the hope to know that if we keep going, there's something more. And there's always someone who's behind us looking for that person in front of them that gives them that hope. And so in being a part of this series, now 2 books, you have done that twice here in this series alone. And I know through your posts and stuff, absolutely, you too. I read them all the time, and the way you share have given a lot of people the opportunity to exhale. And that's truly a gift. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for being you.
Yes.
Oh,
Always.
I was like,
Yeah, you get it.
know what you're doing here.
Yeah, so it's funny because I remember seeing it too, and I'm like, I don't get it. It's a heart. You're making a heart with your fingers.
Oh.
Yeah, so you take your index finger and your thumb, and you put them this way.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we have a little sort of heart. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
Jill,
now I'll know.
We love and adore you, and we so appreciate
Thank you.
and congratulations on another #1 bestseller.
I'm watching Lonnie backstage go.
She's
trying
like,
to look at her own heart the other way. Like,
it's like, look, I'm really good with a pen, okay?
Somebody turned the light off on me.
Uh-oh.
I'm in
you
the
are
dark
the light.
now. I guess
You
it's
are
time
the
to go to
light.
bed.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you for being with us. Thank you for your
Love you
patience.
guys.
And
We
getting
love
into
you
the
too.
studio, waiting in our studio. Much love.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
All right. So, Jean,
what an incredible night. Can you just say that?
Right?
Like,
it really is. And I think it's always, for me, how many times have you read a book and you get the author's bio and their story resonates with you, and you connect with them, and you read their bio and you're like, gosh, like, wouldn't it be nice to have a conversation with them? Wouldn't it be nice to meet them?
yes.
And so I love that we are able to do these book launches and author interviews, because it gives people the opportunity to meet the person behind the chapter, and it makes it that much more powerful. So the next person we're going to meet is Gene, who's been waiting patiently back there, and I just make sure he's awake, and he's back with us to share about his chapter. Again, I'm going to say they were all incredibly moving, but he'll tell you. I'm going to stop giving people lead away. So let's bring him on, and he can share with us.
Hey guys.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for being so patient back there.
No. It's been fun watching. I've been enjoying it.
Good, I'm glad.
And by the way, so it was me in the shower that wrote the shower.
Oh, that's why it made no sense to Bob. Thank you. You gotta put that in the private chat.
Mystery
I'm gonna have to rewind and find out what minute I have to make my apology at. So, Jean, I know you said this is your first time becoming a #1 best-selling author.
Yeah.
Which congratulations. As you tell us a little bit about your chapter, tell us a little bit about the experience of becoming a #1 best-selling author.
Yeah. So I think anyone that has met Lonnie knows that there's something quite amazing about her. The ability to find the people. I think it was Willie that said, people like this attract each other, and definitely true for Lonnie. The second I met her, I was like, yeah, I got to be part of this. And I didn't have an intent of writing this type of a book. I've been working on another project a little bit on and off, and thought that's where I was headed. And this was a totally different angle to go to. So that was because of her. And I think the first day after everyone did their introductions, I just sat there and I think I said, Lonnie, what did you get me involved in? This is like, this is not what I expected it was going to be. So it was a very surreal kind of a weekend, a lot of hard work. And I just remember, and this is where the shower came in. I remember finishing up the first night going, I don't know what I'm going to write about. These people have amazing stories. And I took a shower, and then like all of a sudden the whole thing came to me, and I was like writing it in my head, and I got out of the shower and I immediately went to the computer and I wrote for like 2 or 3 hours straight and had almost the whole story done. So it was really it is a collaboration. We all have our own stories. But the unique thing was everybody's story I could relate to, even though the experience that I've had in life has been different than everyone else's. There's something in each of us that has these shared experiences. And I think that's where the magic of this type of a book comes in. And that did catch me off guard a little bit, but it was quite an amazing experience. Definitely
was. And so now, give us that tease that in the last 5 years, what was that moment?
So it's, and I've been thinking about this while I've been in the waiting room to answer that, because it's odd. I think probably for a lot of us, it's not always just that one moment. For me, I had one that was years ago and it resurfaced in a different way. So I think it's almost like I'm having the same rattled awake moment over and over again. And, it occurred to me when I was, the first time when I was working as a police officer, and it had to do with a situation where I met a young child that was a victim of a crime, and how that impacted me and completely changed my life. And it has to do with attitude. It has to do with what your perspective on a lot of things are, and how you actually control the direction your life goes. And when you start to accept that, amazing things can happen. And it's what brought me to where I am today in my life. And it's been a blessing. So, it's really about that, just kind of taking ownership of how you control your emotions and how you look at life, and really your attitude really drives everything.
So true. I mean, we've heard it before, and I know, Brian, you are a proponent of this as my, positive vibe type, positive energy. Your energy, maybe can't control what's happening to you, but you can control how you react to it. And I'm so happy you mentioned that the same rattled awake moment came through, because I think sometimes people beat themselves up when they have that moment over and over again, right? It's like, oh, I haven't learned. I keep ending up here. But to read your chapter and read your story and know that, you're there for a reason, that you have the ability to take that moment and make it into something really significant, really important, and really impactful, not only for yourself, but for others, is a great gift to be giving people.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like I said, I don't think that it's not that I didn't learn it the first time. It's just that as your life evolves, you re-experience it in a different way sometimes. It's recognizing it, that's important, so that what's ahead of you and what you can do and how to respond to it.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate
again
it.
On becoming a number one bestselling author.
Yes, that means it's time for Nancy Deborah.
Right, only except for the fact that I told you you're going next.
No. See, I had you next, and you were like, no, but you're next. So, ladies first. No, right. Ladies first,
Brian,
Nancy Deborah.
Gentlemen, don't do this.
Oh, no. Yes, wonderful. Tell us, Nancy Deborah. No. Okay, come on.
Are you ready?
That's not nice, but you're ready. Welcome to. You think you're slick? Do you think you're slick? Come on, Nancy Deborah. No, that's not me. That's you. All right. Come on. Enough fun and games. You can come back now. I'm not going to do this without you on screen. Wow, Nancy Deborah. Should we dance? Hi, Dr. Constance. Come on now.
I'm here. Go ahead. So Brian Shulman, tell us. This is part of this anthology. It's your 11th time becoming a
You wanted
best-selling
to go
author,
last? Is that
which
it? You
is
wanted to go last?
so impressive. 11-time number
What's
one
impressive?
best-selling author. It is amazing achievement, and I know that every time is different. So please share with us a little bit about that, the experience, and share a little bit about your chapter and in the last 5 years. Again, what was that moment?
I love how stubborn Nancy Deborah is. She just like railroads right through that. She's like, no, that's okay. You can go last. What was the question?
The one we've been asking everybody all night.
Yes. What has been the single biggest event over the past 5 years that caused me to completely change my perspective? My rattle awake moment. Yes. Well, that's a good one. If I'm radiating real, I was certainly terrified to share it, but I did share my rattled awake moment because of something that Nancy Deborah actually shared a couple minutes ago, which was, there are others that are out there going through a similar experience that are suffering in silence. And I want you, I say you, to whoever will be reading this and experiencing and feeling that and going, wow, I thought I was alone. And I thought I was suffering in silence alone. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And I want you to know that no matter what dark place you're in, that you will come out of it. And I wanted to help lift you, and I say you to the reader, lift you out of the dark place that you are in. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And that, each and every one of us has this story inside of us that, whether we are aware of it or not, thank you, Lonnie Ray. Whether we're aware of it or not, is there. And when you let that out of you, it can change your life. It can change your life. And, I had a question together that we didn't ask tonight just because I thought it was something really hard to answer in a word, but it was basically, if you could share what that single biggest event has been over the past 5 years that's caused you to completely change your perspective in a word, what would that word be? My word is divorce. And it wasn't an option in my book until I realized all the ways that I was modeling being a good father and a partner and family man and a husband, and was teaching my kids the importance of connecting and being connected and being an example of what it is to love and be loved unconditionally and live in joy and yeah. So I think I felt like I was in the dark alone in the basement, and the reality was that while I may have felt alone, that we're never alone, and that we are the light in the basement. We just can't see it. And so I'll let you read the rest of the story, but it was a really impactful one from an experience for me to share. And the reason, like I said, that I have shared this with everyone is because I know that there are others that are suffering in silence. I know that there are others that have experienced divorced, that are experiencing a place where you feel like you're failing, falling, can't breathe, and you're stuck in the wet cement. And I'm here to tell you that it's okay to feel that. It's okay to experience that, and that you will come out of it. And you don't have to do it alone. And if you are alone, or I should say, if you feel like alone, just realize that you're not. Realize that you're not, because by speaking about it, by sharing about it, and by sharing it, you're going to realize you are so not alone. How'd I do?
You did great. And it's so funny because you thought I was insisting on going last, but that wasn't really what it was. I happen to know that this is your first time sharing this particular story, and it's something that's ongoing in your life. And I wanted you to actually have a moment to catch your breath afterwards and, sort of have that moment to take a breath, just like we've been saying about everybody else, so that when we do come back, you had the opportunity to settle back in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate.
I think it's really hard for us to share at any point, but sharing your rattled awake moment while it's still in the process of happening is incredibly difficult, right? You don't exactly know what the resolution is. You don't exactly know all the lessons you've learned, and you're putting it out there as a work in progress. So my intention was that you would have the opportunity to share this and allow yourself to feel it and be with it, and then come back and be a host again instead of being a guest.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you always looking out for the best of everyone that is here in the moment. Because you're right. It's very easy as host. It's very easy to kind of just right through it. And I was about to do that, and you stopped me, and I thank you for that. And you said something that I think is important and powerful, so I just want to bring it up again, which was not that. It's that. It's that. I want to give a shout out to my boy Q, Quentin Allums, who has always been, he's like a son to me, but always been an inspiration to me ever since I met him, ever since I saw him. Oh, thank you, love. And it is because he is 100, as Nate Seb would say, 100% real, 100% of the time, and he shares all of it. And the thing about it is that he shares all of it as it's happening. I have always been, as a creator, one who shares after it's happened, after I've been through it, after I've experienced it, after I've learned the lessons. And I want to share that. And I want to share that because I know that it will impact someone. And that's what it's all about. That's what these rattled awake moments are all about. That's why it's important to share them, because these moments are meant to be shared in the angst, in the pain, in the fear, in the growth that you are sharing and that you are experiencing and writing it, because that's real. Because someone else out there needs to hear it. Someone else out there needs to read it, and someone else out there needs to feel that. And in doing that, you are positively affecting, impacting somebody else's life. And my why is to inspire one person a day. And I will tell you that this was something that, thank you, I appreciate that. As men, we have to be, and I'm going to say as men, because women are really good at getting vulnerable and sharing that. Men are not so good at that. And I think it's really important that men start to break those walls down and share those vulnerabilities. And as Nancy Deborah says, radiating real, and because it's so important. We need to break the stigmatism that comes with men needing to be stoic and brave, but brave, right? Being brave is being vulnerable.
One
So
one of the strongest things you can do is be vulnerable, truly. If you can get into that space, and what you say about the stigma, and I'm going to give it back to you in just a second, is I don't know why, if we're all out here living life and we're all human beings, why we assume that men would have any fewer feelings or experience less feelings than the women around them, and not every woman is good at it, but the better we get at it. I've been with a lot of people and they're radiating real moments, and so have you, and no one has ever come back and said, I wish I hadn't done it, I regret it. That's the truth of it. So thank you. I also want to say that to everyone out there, there's no one right way to do it, whether you share after or during or pieces or parts.
No.
There's no one right way. It's whatever the circumstances are, whatever the conditions are that are right for you to share your story, that's the right time. That's the right way.
I couldn't agree with you more, because I don't look back at the way that I've shared my journey as a creator as the wrong way, as a bad way. It was
no less impactful.
No. It was the right way for me in those moments. And in this moment, it was, and the first time, an important and impactful moment for me to share as I'm experiencing it, as I'm going through it, as I'm growing through it. And as my brother Willie would say, you got to grow with the flow. And again, I thought it was something that was really important to share. And yes, the first time I'm sharing it on paper, and it's, the biggest reason is because, yes, Nancy Deborah, well, that was going to be what I was closing with, but shout out to our producer, Aaron G, is always on point. I know that there are so many people that have either experienced, are experiencing, or are going to be experiencing the same moments, because I've heard that. And the reason I've heard that is because I was brave and courageous and vulnerable in standing up and sharing. And all of you leaders out there, vulnerability is one of the most powerful tools in your belt. It is something that we as leaders need to be doing more often. I always say it's the heart of it all that matters. And heart-centered leadership is where we are. It's where we've needed to be. It's where we are going, looking at where the world has been over the last number of years through a global pandemic that has changed our lives forever. So I want to give a big thank you to our wrangler, our bull rider, our, I don't know, cat herder. Yes. Lonnie Ray, who inspires us to share, because as we have you doing it, she's like, is that right? I don't know. My fingers are together. Just like that. Yeah. You got it. You're on mute, love. Yeah, because look, like every one of us, Lonnie Ray has been through hell and back, and she's experiencing it just like all of us. It's real, and it's life, and it's important, and it's impactful. And by the way, it's a testament to the experience we have all been growing through together. All of us, literally, including Lonnie Ray, as we we make history together. But yes, I say that because of the important and impactful stories that are being shared, just like Lonnie Ray's. And there's a story and a journey in the story for this one. And so I just, again, I want to just share what happened.
I'm going to bring her back.
Yeah, no, we will. I just want to say that, and Lonnie Ray, that's a story to be shared too. I want to say that it's I just, again, my hat off, my heart out to you in being brave and courageous and taking the leap and doing this, not knowing where it was going to go, one time, two times, any time, and how it was going to go each time. And it's been, as Nancy Deborah would say, ugly, snotty, and sexy feeling to you. It's so many moments, right? But but you did it. And that is what, Lonnie Ray, that is what leadership is all about. You don't have to know where it's going to go. You don't have to be able to see what's in front of you. All you have to know is that it's important to take that step, and that falling is not failing. That is leading, because you're learning and growing every time, just like you have, just like we are, and just like we're doing together. So, all right, Nancy, Deborah, guess what?
That's my turn, huh?
It's your turn. Thank you, and thanks to the audience. I appreciate you.
Well, I'm going to start with a quote that I included in my chapter that has long been a favorite of mine. And for those of you who know me or know, I'm all about radiating real and getting real and taking off our masks. So it's from the Velveteen Rabbit, and it says, "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the Skin Horse, for he was always truthful. "When you're real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" he asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the Skin Horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen too often to people who break easily or have sharp edges or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. And that has always been one of the quotes has resonated with me most deeply, because it's true. By the time you become, by the time you are real, for most of us, we have, we've been through it. And often I think we don't feel
Stop
beautiful.
hitting the comments, Nancy, Deborah. I got it. You're
Okay.
good. Be in the moment.
Often I think we don't feel beautiful because we start to just see our scars, and we don't see the beauty of our, for lack of a better word, our battle wounds. For me, part of my chapter was admitting to the whole world on paper that the happiest I've been in a long time was in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, and how I feel like I have to apologize for that, and I feel shameful that that's where I found this happiness. But it's true. For me, it was my rattled awake moment, and maybe for different reasons than other people during the pandemic. But being real and choosing to show up as me and bravely be me was new for me. I know people think like, oh, this must be something you've been doing for a really long time, but it's not. It's very new to me, and I share it because if at 50 years old I can find this inner peace, find this strength, find this willingness to be real, honest, and vulnerable, and make even one other person feel like their inner voice and their truest version of themselves is worth sharing. I'm a really lucky, privileged human to do that. So I think by the time we become all of the things that have made us us, you get to a place of gratitude. And again, that's in my chapter about where, my story, my history is not an easy one to find gratitude for. And when you pick up the chapter, you'll get some more on that, but it's not an easy story to have gratitude for. And I spent a lot of my life trying to outrun it, and it's exhausting. And when I could finally see that two things, that everything that had come before this moment made me. And during the pandemic, I got to meet the real Nancy Deborah Barrows. And for the first time in my life, I can say that I 100% liked who she was. And that was my rattled awake moment. It was this moment of self-acceptance, of accepting my journey and understanding that being me, which is true for all of us, being me is it's a skill. It's a valuable skill. So to all of you who are reading, I hope that you find a piece in my chapter, someone else's chapter, in every chapter that speaks to you in the voice that you need to hear, in a way that your heart and soul can take in and allow it to nourish you. It's an incredible incredible gift. And yes, remember, please remember 2 things: that if we don't share all of it, we are literally killing one another by making everybody think that this journey is easy and clean and pretty all the time, when it is ugly, snotty, and unsexy. If you are out there living life and being human and you are being honest, there are times it sucks. And there are days that you don't want to get out of bed. And there are times that you're not sure how you're going to make it or if you even make a difference. And if we start talking about that, and we start celebrating that, and you surround yourself by people who celebrate your wins as much as they celebrate your falls, because both of them are essential for making us who we are, those are the people. Those are the people that not only do we want around us, but we want to become for others. So that's a bit about my chapter. It's entitled Becoming, and I feel so privileged to be a part of this group and this anthology with so many amazing people with incredible resilience and vulnerability and bravery. It's a journey, and every time you share your story, it gets a little easier, and B, if you are showing up, like I said, for people who maybe haven't found their voice yet, maybe you're sharing their story too. And not only on paper, wherever you on your social media, I'm all about, there's personal and there's private, and there is a difference, but sharing you, the real you, and personal content, so that people are so that we start to normalize that it is a struggle, but that doesn't mean you won't get through it, and it doesn't make it not okay.
Nancy, Deborah, there were a couple comments that for some reason they're not showing up in the feed here, but I do see them on LinkedIn. And so Thomas Condell said, "Congratulations and well done, Nancy. I just read your chapter on Kindle. You should definitely celebrate this occasion."
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And not just for me, but please, once you've read the book, reviews are great because they allow other people to really feel what this book has done for the people who have read it. So thank you for sharing your words and taking the time to do that. I'm incredibly grateful that anyone would reflect back to me how my story in this book has impacted them.
Yes, and you can get that book now for free until Thursday at midnight. Get your copy of Rattled Awake Volume 2 right now. But yes, make sure you hurry because it only lasts until midnight on Thursday. Follow that link right there. We'll make sure it's dropped in the comments again as well. This has all been about Better, Not Bitter, the Rattled Awake anthology series, the second volume, 12 life-changing stories of how one incident dramatically shifted the lives of 12 incredible human beings for the better. This has been the launch party of the #1 bestseller, Rattled Awake Volume 2. You've got to meet an authors. You've got to feel. You've got to learn. You've got to hear the experiences that all of these #1 bestselling authors, many first-time #1 bestselling authors, yes, you are, have. I got sidetracked. What was I saying? Welcome to live. Yes, it's been incredible. You are incredible. And remember that no matter what has happened in your life over the past 5 years, to allow optimism to enter in and know that each Rattled Awake moment can bring you a gift because you are a gift, and to enjoy the treasure of you, enjoy the treasure of these incredible humans and authors. And Nancy, Deborah,
I'm going to bring back on. So as we say goodnight, you're all here with us.
Yes, let me remove some of this here.
Awesome. Hey, guys.
Yes.
My beautiful family.
So, as we have this opportunity tonight, thank you to everyone who joined us live, everyone who's catching this in the replay, to all the authors who showed up, to all the people who love and support us. It's a heartfelt thank you. And we're going to do that. What was the game where you give a big old kiss?
Yes, the big dating game kiss. Yeah.
And
that's
while
right.
we're here, are you in the green room? Oh, you're okay. I see. Yep. Jill, do you want to jump back in the green room? But I was going to say, as we're ending this all here, we are going to, I'm going to invite all the authors to join me in celebrating all of you as we say goodnight.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nancy and Brian, for hosting this.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting, and thanks to Lonnie for bringing us all together.
You're so welcome.
Indeed. Thank you, Lonnie.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. What? Yes.
I almost removed you.
We're sending love and light to each and every one of you. We hope you have an incredible morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are around the world. And we will see you again very soon. A little music to take you out.